Breastfeeding. It's a whole job on its own. For anyone who has ever breastfed a child, you know what I'm talking about. It's imperative that we do it, right? But it comes with its own challenges. And because of that, there has to be a lot of encouragement sometimes to get women to breastfeed for the recommended 6 months at least, right? Exclusive breastfeeding. Oh gosh, bringing back memories. Well, let's talk to nutritionist Akosia, who's here to educate us on breastfeeding and awareness about breastfeeding and to talk about being a breastfeeding ambassador. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, we're talking breasts and feeding today. I know, right? It's a lot of work.
Yep.
It's not easy.
Yep.
So why do a lot of women feel pressured to breastfeed when they have difficulties doing it?
Okay, so August is breastfeeding month, and this week across the world, it's World Breastfeeding Week. Like, this is the celebration. It's a whole week. And so as a breastfeeding ambassador with the Ghana Health Service, I have to at least
talk about it.
So it's the reason why we want to focus on breastfeeding. But then it is very important because it's the first food of life. Let me start off by saying that, because the first food, as far as everything the child will need for the first 6 months of life, is embedded in the milk. And so it is very important that as mothers, I know it's very challenging because sometimes you meet some of the mothers, especially those who have preterm babies or have their babies at the NICU, and they are trying to give you every reason why they would need to be helped as far as substitution is concerned. But then it's for us to empower you. I'm a breastfeeding ambassador. I'll be for the rest of my life until I decide to stop practicing. Even then, I may be a mother or will be a mother. So it's very important that I let you know, because sometimes the reason why mothers don't want to do this is because they don't know what is in there for them and for the baby. And so once information is out there to make them feel empowered, or once they have somebody teaching them what they have or receive from doing that, then it makes it work. Of course, we'll talk about why you need to exclusively breastfeed, the composition of breast milk, and then challenges of breastfeeding mothers and their babies and how to go about it. But then this year's theme is Step Up for Breastfeeding, Educate and Support. So you start right, you feed right. So it's very important that we start right, and that's the reason why we're having this conversation immediately the child is born. There are some 10 steps recommended by UNICEF and the World Health Organization. I'll quickly rush through them. Comply fully with the national or international code of marketing of breast milk substitutes. So you see that it's something that we are supposed to do, but you find even health workers pushing substitutes or formula on mothers because I came for night. I want to also have rest because the babies don't sleep at night.
Yeah, sometimes.
And at dawn. It's mostly happening so because naturally it is expected that mother has rested, and so it is very, very easy for a lot of production to go on because it's just like a factory. Once we shut down, there is no activities going on, so the brain has time to make sure that production is properly happening. And so it's a reason why you wake up sometimes and you have even spills on your bed as a breastfeeding mother. So we need to make sure that we are complying. Where do we come in with a substitute? Mother delivered, mother is sick, bedridden, and there is no way you can even go stimulating those breasts. I've had a case like that. For more than 24 hours, mother was unconscious. And so if the blood sugar of this child is dropping, obviously we may need to step in so that we don't end up killing this child too. And so until there are medical reasons or there is a medical condition that is making it difficult for mother to breastfeed, you don't go in with substitute as the first resort, because when you take breast milk, the composition, and as compared to formula, we have antibodies, we have I tell people all the antis can be found there.
To protect the child.
Yes, to protect the child. So even when COVID came, antibodies became something big, and it was because we are giving you the vaccines because there are antibodies to protect you, to make sure you are protected from COVID. So you pick the composition of breastfeeding, you have all the nutrient composition sitting in there, total carbohydrates, total fats, total chemical, protein, you have water sitting in there. And so it clearly spells out what you are getting from breast milk as compared to formula. And trust me, what breast milk is giving you, formula is giving you like 40%. And there is this DDNS, a senior nurse at the facility. She goes like, you've given birth to a human being, you want to give this human being in chain of four. So like technically, if the mother is there and everything is right with the mother, medically mother has been cleared. Sometimes they feel they are tired, and that is where we come in. You need to encourage them, because you don't need to shout on them. If you shout,
I think a lot
I will
of
shout back at you if you shout at me.
You know, yeah, exactly. Because you've got a woman who first she's just given birth,
yes,
so she's probably tired.
Yes.
You know, maybe hasn't eaten that much, or her appetite hasn't come back yet. Especially if it's a mother who's just had a cesarean section and she has to be, you know, lying on her back for a while. She can't really move. There are a lot of challenges, and then you've got, you know, a nurse or a health professional or a midwife who comes in and is putting a lot of pressure. You know, start massaging your breast, squeeze the nipple. I mean,
I know.
They might even squeeze it for you.
If you are lucky, I stimulate breast for a lot of mothers.
Yes.
Even at the theater recovery, like I said, it all comes to how you approach the person.
Okay.
This person just delivered. There are women who goes like, please help me. I tell mothers that even if it's the president's wife who is there, tell the woman to pick your baby for you. So you start breastfeeding, because within the first 72 hours of birth, breastfeeding has to start. And it's part of the point as far as initiation is concerned. So you have to ensure that there is sufficient staff knowledge. So whatever you are talking about also comes in there, because you need to understand, yes, you didn't deliver, but then you can see that this woman is very vulnerable. And sometimes even their husbands are vulnerable too, because if this man was at the labor room and saw whatever this woman had to go through, a man was like, please turn a whoop. She won't go through this pain again. Because some of them don't know that, yes, it's such a life and death situation when it comes to the labor room. And so once this man has had the experience, sometimes they come to you and go like, please, I see she's tired. Can we do this for her? It's up to you to make sure that the right information, like I'm giving out, is given to the mother. If I tell you that breast milk will give you 100%, formula is giving you 40%, I'm there to help you. Let me help stimulate those breasts for you and prove to you. I always prove to mothers that they have breast milk in their breast by doing the stimulation myself. Sometimes go about looking for shea butter for easy lubrication, just to make sure that I do everything as far as expression is concerned, and then let you see your own milk. That is, at that point, some of them go like, oh, I already have breast milk. Please, give me the baby. Sometimes you want to leave, they're like, please help us. Like, but I go like, I have to attend to other people. So adequate knowledge has to be there as far as we, the professionals, are also concerned. It's not just about the mothers. And then you discuss importance and management of breastfeeding with pregnant women. So this is something the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, they've done so well. And I think other facilities can learn. So before a woman gets into labor or gets to the labor room, she already knows the benefit of initiation within the first 72 hours of the child's life. And so it's easier when they come there, because they've been programmed or they've been prepped to know that, 30 minutes after spontaneous vaginal delivery, I put my baby on the breast. I make sure I start stimulating. Some of them start stimulating on their own. So I tell you, when you are coming as part of your staffs, make sure there is shea butter in there. If you find a nutritionist or any health professional there ready to help you, fine. But if there is nobody there, you can use sanitizer or wash your hands and just start stimulating your breast on your own. If it's CS or cesarean session too, after an hour you can do that, but then you have to make sure that you are cleared in the sense that even me, before I touch you, I have to make sure you can move your limbs, because sometimes mothers are unconscious, and so what's the point in touching somebody because you don't, and you have to monitor the blood pressure of a lot of things will need to be factored before you touch somebody or before you try to stimulate. So sometimes I check whatever I need to check as far as the BP, whatever they are using to monitor you is concerned, and then get clearance from whoever did the procedure. And then the midwives around taking care of you to know that if this woman is ready for stimulation to start. And then facilitate skin to skin and initiation. Skin to skin is very important. Right after delivery, your baby is supposed to put on you. And it helps because some of them are born ready to eat, and so they start looking for even the breast. It helps. And then initiation starts. And then stick to breast milk unless there is a medical condition.
As you mentioned.
And then support mothers.
Yes.
Mothers need to be supported. Like I said,
supported.
somebody has undergone episiotomy and she's in pain. You see, some of them, I had a doctor friend, she couldn't even walk because she had 3 tests. And so you come to her and you want to shout at her to breastfeed, because some of them after episiotomy, they don't even look at their babies because they've gone through hell. And some get even depressed at the facility before they are discharged. So it's up to you. I always say that if you're not interested in the job, you have to quit. There are a lot of things you can do. You have to empathize with people. You have to have compassion. I haven't pushed a baby out of me yet, but then at least I've touched more than 1,000 babies, and I know that care, you feeling for her, even though it didn't come from you, goes a long way to make sure that you get results for whatever you are trying to push.
And support with latching as well, for the baby latching on. That's a big one, because you know if the baby latches wrongly,
sore nipple will get there. It's part of
that's when you don't even want to breastfeed.
Yes, because I tell them it's a reason. Is a challenge, because if latching on is not properly done, and latching on, you have to make sure the baby is not just getting the nipple. Baby has a bit of the areola, so the breast is divided into 3 parts. We have the nipple, we have the areola. Some people have theirs black, brownish, or reddish, and then we have the part that looks like your other part. That's your skin color. So we have the body, we have the areola, and we have the nipple. And the baby is not supposed to hold just the nipple, because when they hold just the nipple, you hear. And some mothers go like babies are enjoying the breast milk. It's not babies enjoying, they are suckling air, and you end up having sore nipple. When it's the most painful thing, you have mothers sometimes screaming. Baby doesn't care, you have sores. And I've seen babies even suckle when even blood, you can see blood. For them, once they enjoy the breast milk, your breast can go to hell. And so you counsel mothers on the risk of bottle feeding, pacifiers, and teat.
Okay, when it comes to bottle feeding, what about for mothers who express their breast milk, to feed that way? Because maybe you're a working mom, you're going back to work, or you need other people to help you.
Cup and spoon.
That it takes time.
Cup and spoon. Some are born, especially if your baby had the NICU experience or the neonatal intensive care unit experience, and you tell me that you are struggling with cup and spoon, I have to lash you. Because that is how they are fed.
True. The bottle industry is such a huge industry, and people even spend time, like before they have their babies, picking what kind of bottle, because this brand says they have the better more closer to nipple. This brand says this is better.
I tell them that now, when your baby can really identify your nipple, you can come in with something else. When a baby is delivered, if I give the baby my nipple, baby will suckle. If we have 100 women here and we all give our breast to the baby, baby will suckle. But babies after 6 months, 9 months, a year, if they don't hear, mommy could quiz, smell. Even if you have the most beautiful nipples, that nipple can go to hell. So there is nipple confusion. That's why we preach against bottle feeding. Now, when baby becomes confused, it's easier for them to eat from the bottle. That's why we call them the lactogy babies, because whatever amount you put in that bottle, that baby can finish all. But when it comes to suckling, no baby can suckle even up to this cupful, because they use their jaw, and it's a lot of work to be suckling. So when they are suckling, sometimes mommies go like, she suckled 1, 2, 3, she stopped. I'm like, she's tired. Allow baby to rest, because baby is working. They suckle 1, 2, 3, then they can pause for sometimes even up to 3, 4 seconds before they do it again. But then if you realize that it's eating into, let's say, 30 seconds up to a minute, baby is sleeping. They were born sleeping, because in your womb, sometimes 24 hours, this baby doesn't even talk to you. 2 days, baby is minding his or her own business. And so it's up to you to make sure that sometimes I tickle them. Some of them beat them. I'm like, hey, they are too tiny, I can't do that. So I tickle them, small pinch under their feet. And some mothers also use their finger like this, just to be rubbing their cheeks to make sure they open their mouth. And sometimes I do a trick for them. You can use their nipple. Make sure you've expressed for a little milk to come. Once the baby's lips and tongue touches the milk, they open their mouth. So make sure that is done And then pacifiers for the bottle. Aside nipple confusion, when they are confused, they don't suckle. You don't make a lot of milk. So when mothers start going to work, they go like, my supply has declined. Because the child will need to suckle for signals to go to the brain to keep producing. But then if you are not allowing the baby to suckle, you are always expressing. Once they have the pump, some of them start even pumping at the hospital. I'm like, what are you doing? When you are discharged, you go home and do that. Do the manual thing to make sure that there is a release. And once the brain has been informed that child man or child woman is there, then it makes things easier, because until the child is suckling or suckles, there isn't much for you to even pump. You
become a walking milk tank. Like you literally can't do anything.
I've done this thing for somebody. The next day, this lady was expressing 750 ml.
It's crazy.
Yes, it can happen if you put your mind to it. So I tell mothers that chances that you stay here within a day to 3 days, that is within 72 hours, is high. Before you are discharged, make sure you are breastfeeding or you have breast milk, because you can call me in my lab coat in this glam to come and lift you onto your bed, and I will do it for you. But then you can't call me in your house to come and do certain things for you. When you are in the facility, it is easier because there are nutritionists around, your gynaes, your midwives, everybody is around.
Support. The minute you get home, you're like,
some get home, they have nobody. So you need to make sure you have breast milk before you go home. And then you coordinate discharge. Like I said, you have to make sure that before I leave the facility, if I know that I don't have help, I make sure I have breast milk. And we have people around depending on where you deliver.
Eating to produce breast milk. There are a lot of, I don't want to call them myths, but people say, oh, you've got to eat a lot of maybe contemporary or a lot of light soup and this. Or drink a lot of malt, you know, to produce all kinds of things. I've heard the malt one. So what is true, what is not? Are there foods that can help you produce more?
Okay, so our parents, our grandparents, they were not wrong. But then breast milk production is a thing of the mind. So when you go to the war-prone area, even in Ukraine, current Ukraine, there are mothers who haven't eaten for a week, but they are still breastfeeding.
Wow.
When you go to Somalia and those places, you could see that those times when images used to come out about how hungry these people were, you could see a mother as lean as like 1/3 of me, still with her baby, breastfeeding. It's a thing of the mind. Once you are a mother, Kokui, sometimes you are at work, baby is home, but you have that maternal instinct that goes like, I just felt something in my breast and I think my child is crying. You place a call and true to it, your child is crying. It comes, it's God-given, and that one, I don't know, science can never explain that, yes, in a sense that it is God. He did it. We have that maternal and child bonding. Once you have your child, once you put baby to the breast, naturally the brain has work to do to make sure that the work of prolactin is hitting the roof, because right after delivery, estrogen is on the ground. Estrogen is left for us. Once baby is out, now prolactin has work to do. And so once the brain can recognize that, okay, baby wants food, it is always ready. You have to put in little effort, support the baby to make sure.
So you don't have to eat more. You know, because they'll come and say, "Have you eaten?" They want to, you know.
No, the reason why they say that
feed you.
It's for you. Yes. Because I believe that if a mother is strong, you can pick that baby and breastfeed. Yeah. And obviously, something drops in the milk. That's why when your baby has constipation and you are breastfeeding, they tell you, the mother, to take fruits because it will leave something in the milk. But breast milk production is solely from the brain or the mind. It's a psychological thing. But then there are some triggers.
Okay.
My mom goes like, when I eat morokoko, if I drove here, I came. If my car gets spoiled, I'll pick boat here. If boat doesn't happen, I can get a taxi. So whatever the means, I was definitely going to find my way to city.
Okay. Because how do people reach you?
So you can follow me or reach me for more. The challenges, I will talk about some of them, and then let me quickly talk about the 4 stages of breastfeeding. We have the ready time. We have the reading time. We have the colostrum, transitional milk, and matured milk. I'll talk more about that.
No problem.
So on Instagram at the Nutritionist Akosia, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Nutritionist Akosia, and you can WhatsApp me on 0243 350206, and you can pass by any government hospital. It's Breastfeeding Week, Ridge Hospital, Kolebu, and then be supported as far as everything breastfeeding is concerned. Ask me anything breastfeeding.
Fantastic. All right. Yep, get in touch with the Nutritious Acosta if you want to learn more. And this week is World Breastfeeding Week. So if you're a breastfeeding mother out there, hopefully you're getting the support you need and your milk is flowing bountifully. Okay, we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break, and Kweku David will be back with an interesting conversation, so stay tuned.